The tunnel's path will be straight and flat, right through the base of the mountain range. The tunnel's path will be straight and flat, right through the base of the mountain range.
Now, a lot is said about these issues, but that's why I repeated that twice. This is an official documentary about the world's longest tunnel in Switzerland. Now, this tunnel goes through mountain ranges, and if the Earth was a globe, this tunnel would have to have a curve. Now, can you imagine how hard that would actually be to engineer in anyway? But they say in the documentary right there, you just heard it, the tunnel is flat. The tunnel is flat. I don't know why so many people can never get this. This actual documentary should be on every channel that's ever trying to say to people they think the Earth is flat. They should have found this. This is the most damning evidence, in my opinion, nearly there is. This tunnel. It's a long tunnel, and for them to say it's flat. It's flat. And every profile you ever see of a tunnel like this, or the England to France tunnel, and many others, and I've done videos in the past on this, all profiles are drawn flat. There's very little concept of a curved profile. There's a few real rare ones, but 98% show just like this does here. And so overwhelming evidence. And do I have to repeat this guy? He just said the Earth is, the tunnel is flat.
The tunnel's path will be straight and flat,
right through the base of the mountain range. Well, the base of the mountain range, if it was on a globe, would be curved. But no, he says flat. So hopefully people can understand from this documentary, straight up, there it is, 100% proof the Earth is flat. You don't need to know anything else. Now, there seems to be pretty good engineering in that tunnel, and certainly bridges that you know around the world, and various projects, highways, etc. We see really good, strong engineering, because some of these things have to be built strong and engineered well. But when it comes to the space shuttle, well, I'll ask you, with all the pressure that would be exerted if this was real, would you leave it at the front, which is the most important part, getting most of the pressure, and especially the wind pressure coming between these two items here, tending to want to pull this in this direction away, this is the pressure build-up. And look, all they have is this little thing here, and it's hooked in twice on the brown one, but look, only one wonderbolt, I call this, the absolute engineering wonderbolt. Yes, does this look strong enough to you? Is this how you would engineer this? One wonderbolt and two bolts here. Now, where this hooks in, you'd have to have really thick bars in several directions, making a cage, because if you just had it hooked into this business here, of course, it would pull straight out. But we know this is just a total fraud. Just have a look at it and think for yourself for a second. Now, another point too is that they say these rockets steer themselves through gimbal control. That means that these back booster things here can go a little bit this way and a little bit this way to make the thing steer. Now, as you can see, this one here doesn't have any. It's just a straight flow system. It's not built like this one. And also, this would tend to want to go to the left or up in this case, the way it is. I'm thinking if it was standing up straight. Because, let's face it, the pressure, of the weight of this, hooked in by this little thing, you notice it's more secure at the back. I mean, you'd want to have security in the middle and the front, and the biggest amount at the front, not the back. But certainly, how does this thing steer? Well, of course it doesn't, because it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a model. And people should easily see that. How do rockets steer? That's all you need to know. And to say that they can steer by the gimbal control, like what sort of hydraulics runs these gimbals and off what commands. The guys are locked away inside, they don't have any steering mechanisms, but they steered from the ground millions of miles away, or not millions so much, but a long way away, they say. You know, they're steering things, are they, when they get near the moon? Just something that was created. When they created movies, they could create rockets. Rockets go hand in hand with movies. The only rockets that exist are little ones. If there's anything too big, just goes up and to the left or right and comes down with a hell of a thud and could be very dangerous. And they know that. They're not silly, but they know the public aren't very skeptical, that is for certain. How does this steer? And to make matters worse for NASA is the images they have shown us over the years of our so-called globe. Now here you can clearly see we've got the same size going here. These are two official style images from NASA. And as we can see here, the USA is larger and smaller. And look here with South America, you can see right down to the tip here, but here, the tip's going around the curve. Now they're the same size. And there's other discrepancies too. Look at the distance here between these two here, and it's bigger. It should be bigger on this one, being that they're smaller. See, nothing adds up. Nothing makes any sense whatsoever. And I've told this to people. I've shown them this image. I've sent friends this image, and they don't get back to me and say, hey, I never realised. Somehow they side with NASA, and it's just a conspiracy theory. This is no conspiracy. Look, this is bigger than this one and the same scale. Now there are many more images you can find, and you can choose other continents like Africa or Europe, and you'll see the same discrepancies. It's absolutely in every image they ever show, there's differences. And when they're up in having spacewalks, it's always cloudy. There's so many things that are wrong. And I've shown old spacewalks where the Earth is spinning at a certain rate, and then you see another one where it's spinning faster. Nothing ever adds up with NASA. Never a straight answer. I like this one here where the USA is just taking the whole centre stage of everything and nothing else showing. But there's a very similar picture, and you have a huge landmass here which is meant to be Africa or Europe, I'm not sure. Here we have it. Now what is this? Where Greenland is, so it's hardly Africa, it has to be Europe. And does that look anything like Europe? Yet it's in the same, that earlier picture I showed you was a very similar style look, and yet there was nothing here. Yeah, nothing marked in that spot on these ones. And here we have a different sort of shape, more curved in and out. And finally, Africa from space. Same size globes. Here it is, taking all the globe nearly up, and here it is. You can see all these other parts. Same size. Look, that is not correct. That can't be. You can't get these two images. Impossible. One has to be a fraud at least. But I tell you now, do either of them look real? Just CGI artwork. We should have a lot better imagery of our globe Earth from space, seeing there's so many satellites, so they say. There are no satellites because, as I said before, rockets can't steer. Rockets are a fraud in themselves, and I've covered this many a time. And look at this Africa picture. Now, anyone who wants to deny this, they're just not thinking. Same size, and look how big Africa looks here. And something funny about the Saudi Arabia too. Look at the wide bottom, and here it's much narrower. But look at the difference. This can't be. That's impossible. And finally, look at this one here. Look how little we can see here of South America, and not much of India there, covered by cloud conveniently. But when we scroll down here, we see there's another image, and look, clearly India, a lot more South America. Same size, look. Pretty much funny shape, this one here. But, you know, there's just not good images of Earth from space, and they all vary. They vary just totally, yet they're all Earth from space. Look at it here, taking up all of this.